There's this thing people do where they mistake being loud for being right. You've seen it. The person who dominates every conversation not because they have the best points, but because they simply won't stop talking. And you're sitting there thinking, wow, they seem really confident. But are they? Spoiler alert, it's not. What looks like confidence is just ego wearing a very expensive suit. Confidence says, I know what I'm good at. Ego says, I'm good at everything, and you're lucky I'm here to show you how it's done. See the difference? Confidence is quiet. It doesn't need to announce itself every 5 seconds. Ego is that friend who posts 17 stories a day reminding everyone they went to the gym. We get it, Brad. You did a plank. So let's talk about why some people confuse these two things. Because it's not just annoying, it's actually kind of sad when you think about it. Psychologists have this concept called the Dunning-Kruger effect, which is basically when people with low ability overestimate their competence. They're so incompetent, they don't even realize they're incompetent. Wild, right? It's like being bad at self-awareness, which is the one skill you really need to not be insufferable. But here's where it gets messy. Ego-driven people aren't always incompetent. Sometimes they're actually talented. They just can't stop reminding you about it. They need validation like plants need sunlight. And when they don't get it, oh boy, that's when the defensiveness kicks in. That's when every piece of feedback becomes a personal attack. You're not critiquing their work. You're questioning their entire existence. Exhausting. Confidence, on the other hand, can take criticism. It can sit with uncertainty. It doesn't need to win every conversation or prove every point. It's comfortable saying, I don't know, or maybe you're right. Ego would rather die than admit it doesn't have all the answers. It's like watching someone drown, but they won't grab the life raft because it's the wrong brand. And you can see this play out everywhere. In relationships, ego disguises itself as strength. I don't apologize because I'm never wrong. That's not confidence. That's just being impossible to be around. Real confidence says, I messed up and I'm secure enough to own it. Ego says, well, if you weren't so sensitive, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Yikes. At work, it's even worse. Ego takes credit for group projects. Ego talks over people in meetings. Ego thinks collaboration means everyone else executing their vision. Meanwhile, confident people lift others up. They share the spotlight because they're not afraid it'll dim their own shine. They know that making someone else look good doesn't make them look bad. Revolutionary concept, I know, the kicker. Ego often stems from deep insecurity. That's the part people don't talk about. All that posturing and peacocking, it's usually covering up a fear of being exposed as not enough, studies show that people with fragile self-esteem are more likely to engage in ego-driven behavior because they need constant external validation to feel okay about themselves. They're building a fortress out of compliments and achievements, but the foundation is shaky as hell. Confident people don't need that fortress. They've already done the internal work. They know their worth isn't tied to being the smartest person in the room or winning every argument. They can be wrong and still feel solid. They can let someone else have the last word and not lose sleep over it. Ego? Ego is refreshing the comments section at 2 a.m. to make sure nobody disagreed with them. And the sad truth is, ego pushes people away. You might be impressed by someone's bravado at first, but eventually it gets old. You realize every conversation is a performance. Every interaction is a test you didn't sign up for. Meanwhile, confidence draws people in. It's magnetic without trying to be. It's the person who makes you feel heard instead of small. So if you're sitting here wondering which one you are, ask yourself this. Do you need to be right, or are you okay with being real? Do you need people to see you as perfect, or can you be flawed and still feel good about yourself? Because confidence is knowing you're enough as you are. Ego is terrified you're not, so it overcompensates. It's the difference between I've got this and you better believe I've got this or I'll spiral. Here's the reality check. Confidence grows when you stop performing and start being. Ego shrinks when you realize you don't need everyone's approval to validate your existence. And honestly, the world needs more of the former and way less of the latter. Because nobody likes the person who walks into every room like they own it. We just tolerate them until they leave. So hit that like button if you've ever caught yourself over-explaining how good you are at something because deep down, you weren't sure anyone believed you. Subscribe for more psychology that gently calls out the stuff we all do but pretend we don't. And drop a comment with a time you witnessed pure ego in action. Bonus points if it was your own. See you next time with another deep dive into why we're all a little bit ridiculous. And maybe, just maybe, that's okay.